A new Grand Prix year starts at the Buenos Aires Autodrome in typically fierce heat, with prospects of 1980 being one of the most hotly contested seasons ever in the long history of the Formula One World Championship. After a frantically busy, all too short 3 months of winter development, it's a very different scene at the Circuit Almirante Brown, for every team's got brand new or updated cars, and there's been a major shuffle of drivers. So, with 16 races to go, the 1980 World Championship's wide open. But 5 men from 3 teams in today's Argentine Grand Prix must especially fancy their chances. In the new T5 Ferrari, the reigning world champion Jody Scheckter and his teammate Gilles Villeneuve, who between them won 5 Grand Prix last year. In the Saudi Leyland Williams cars, Alan Jones, 4 times a winner in 1979, and his new ex-Brabham, Ferrari and Lotus teammate, Argentinian Carlos Reutemann. And in only his second full year of Formula One, Brazilian Nelson Piquet, new team leader for Brabham in the new Cosworth-powered BT48s. But after 2 days of practice, the shape of 1980's clearer. For there, in pole position of the staggered starting grid, it's Alan Jones. Second fastest, Jacques Lafitte, Ligier. Third, Pironi, Ligier. Fourth, Piquet, Brabham. Fifth, De Angelis, Lotus. Sixth, Andretti, Lotus. And in 11th position, Jody Scheckter, the world champion.
Well, BA is a truly heartwarming place for the circus to start their season. They come out of the misery of a European winter and move down to the blasting heat of the South American summer. And the circuit is one of the nicest that they race on all season. It's varied, it's got nice fast sections, it's got a twisty slow infield, it's got plenty of runoff area, which means there's plenty of room to make mistakes and have a bit of fun. And above all, it's one of the few circuits that has fast enough straights to make overtaking easy, which of course then has a tendency to give us a very exciting race.
53 laps, and in the background, René Arnoux in the Renault goes into the pits, so he is not going to start with the rest of them in this long race of what's going to be attrition. When the green lights come on, away will go Alan Jones, and he does so. Jacques Lafitte alongside him, Pironi behind. Villeneuve coming through, and Piquet is in 4th position. Andretti is 5th alongside Villeneuve as they go round the right-hander, then into the left-hander, which leads to the long 5th gear straight, the fastest part of the course, which leads into the 5th gear curve on, and it's Alan Jones leading the 2 Ligiers. Jacques Lafitte, who won this race last year, is in 2nd place. Didier Pironi, who left the Candy Tyrrell team at the end of last year, and Arnoux is in the pits still. He came into the pits, he's yet to start the race, and Nelson Piquet on the left in the white and blue Brabham, a new colour scheme, is in 4th position. Alan Jones in the Saudi Williams, 4 wins last year, leads. The Ligiers are together with Piquet alongside them, and Piquet challenges. He goes past Pironi, he's up alongside Lafitte. Jones leads, Lafitte is in 2nd place.
And Villeneuve just went off. Villeneuve had moved up to 5th place or thereabouts from his relatively lowly grid position, made a great start, but he's overcooked it. I'm afraid he started his 1980 season very much as he left off. There it is on the replay. Villeneuve just on the left hand of the picture going up.
But already Alan Jones is building up a cushion between himself and the new 2nd place man, which is Nelson Piquet, who has only got 1 full season of Grand Prix driving behind him. Today in the new Cosworth-powered BT48, which made its debut at Canada at the end of last year. Jones leads, Piquet 2nd, Lafitte 3rd. Then Andretti is in 4th position, and behind him the rest of them go streaming through. Lap 1, and there are 53 laps in this long race. Jones, Piquet, Lafitte, Andretti. Reutemann is in 5th place, and Pironi is in 6th place as they complete the first lap.
Well, Reutemann made a great start. He's moved up from a difficult-ish grid position. He had trouble with his car in practice on Friday when the track was at its quickest, but he certainly made up for it for his home Grand Prix. Villeneuve, I noticed, has recovered. He had a little excursion there, but he's right back on the track. He's well down the field, running in about 15th place or thereabouts. I expect to see him storming through the field and really tigering.
Lap 2, and Jody Scheckter is up into 6th place. So the 2 Ferraris, the world champion and the man who finished 2nd last year in the championship, Villeneuve, are both in the first 6 places. The leader coming down the fast straight towards us, Alan Jones, followed by Piquet in the Brabham BT48, then Jacques Lafitte, Reutemann, is up into 4th position now. So the two Saudi Leyland cars are well up.
You'll notice, Murray, that down the main straight there, we've just come down. You'll see all the cars snaking about all over the place. This is the chance that I was talking about earlier for overtaking to happen. The cars get a good tow. There's a long straight before, then a big flat-out loop at the top, and they come down that, and they can move about. The car behind gets a good run, and of course they're concertinaing up, and they can really jockey for position, which is something that we see at all too few circuits these days.
Jean-Pierre Jarier in the Candy Tyrrell into the pits, and it looks as though his race is run already on lap 2 as Alan Jones in the Saudi Leyland car comes towards us. Piquet close up behind it. There is the 2nd place man. 3rd is Lafitte. 4th is Reutemann. Look at the gap. Mario Andretti in 5th place. Jody Scheckter and then Patrese. Riccardo Patrese in 7th place in the new A3 Arrows. Brand new car after that. And that's René Arnoux. Wheel off. Offside wheel off the Renault. René Arnoux and Mario Andretti into the pits. The 1978 world champion in the new Essex Lotus 81. Obviously in trouble. But on lap 6, Alan Jones now has a clear lead. And coming, that's Jacques Lafitte. Jacques Lafitte is going to take Nelson Piquet and 2nd place, and he's done it. Lafitte, who won last year in the Ligier, and that's Pironi, Lafitte's teammate, out of the race, as the Frenchman from Paris, Jacques Lafitte, who won last year and at Brazil, has now moved ahead of Nelson Piquet. So it's Alan Jones leading, Jacques Lafitte in 2nd place, Nelson Piquet in 3rd position, and Carlos Reutemann. And this is the battle for 2nd between these 3 cars, and Piquet comes out of Lafitte's slipstream alongside him and retakes 2nd position, and Carlos Reutemann tries to take Lafitte and fails. So tremendously close stuff for 2nd position.
It seems to me that the Brabham is the quicker of those 3 cars in a straight line. Piquet made a mistake in the infield on the previous lap, and Lafitte grabbed his chance and got past. I think Lafitte and Reutemann are both quicker on their own, but they got back onto the quick part of the circuit, and the superiority of the Brabham in a straight line was then evident as Piquet grabbed his position back again.
Jochen Maas into the pits, and there is Lafitte. He's going to try and take 2nd place away from Piquet, and he's done it. Jacques Lafitte's got the line, and he goes through into 2nd place. Piquet nearly loses it as the back of the car flips.
Well, this time Lafitte has done it at the beginning of the infield, which is the section where he now stands a chance to get away, and if he does everything right this lap, he should be able to get enough of a gap on Piquet to maintain that 2nd place and not have Piquet come past him on the quick part with the tow.
And they're coming out already. That Jean-Pierre Jabouille's car in the background went into the pits. Both Renaults then are out of the race. And now Carlos Reutemann is catching Piquet. Look at this. This is Piquet in the Brabham. Behind him, Carlos Reutemann, the Argentinian, in the Saudi Leyland car.
Piquet's moving to the right to keep the inside line for the corner. Reutemann's not giving way. And Reutemann's locked his front wheels and gone straight on. That was very good defensive driving by Piquet. Reutemann was a little bit too committed there, and he couldn't get into the corner because Piquet was holding the inside line and blocking Reutemann's turning in point there.
And it's possible not only that Reutemann's lost time, which he undoubtedly has, but that he damaged his car going off the circuit. As Alan Jones, now with a very comfortable lead early on in the race, goes on, and Reutemann into the pits.
Yes, I should think, Murray, that he got grass or something in his radiators then, or maybe damaged a skirt. Yes, he's having the mechanics pull grass and stuff out of the radiators. The temperature of the car is always terribly critical in VA. The engines run very, very hot, and any sort of knuckle grass in the radiator. In fact, it's happened to me one year there. I blew a race by getting grass in the radiator and not stopping to have it cleaned, and my engine blew up as a result. Reutemann may or may not have caught his engine before it was damaged.
Jones leads. Lafitte is 2nd. There is Alan Jones, number 27, catching Mario Andretti, who has, of course, been into the pits, and Alan Jones gaining on him to lap him. Lafitte is 2nd. Piquet is 3rd. Villeneuve is 4th in the Ferrari. World champion Jody Scheckter in 5th position, and Keke Rosberg in the Wolf is up into 6th position.
We've had a lot of problems during practice with the track breaking up. The track was resurfaced apparently about a month ago, following some breaking up problems when the Renault team were down testing before Christmas, and the new surface that they put on in places has not taken properly. It hasn't been weathered in properly. It's probably been a hot spell down there, and it's been breaking up, which makes it very slippery indeed, and there have been complaints. The drivers were having a big meeting about it. I gather there was a lot of argy-bargy about whether they should race or not. However, it makes conditions very tricky. For my money, it's the same for everybody, and there's no harm so long as there aren't chunks of rock being thrown at each other, which I gather is not a problem. And it's a real test of concentration and controlled driving when the conditions are this treacherous.
Lap 13, Jones, Lafitte, Piquet, Reutemann, Villeneuve, Scheckter and Rosberg in the Fittipaldi has gone down to 7th position. There is the leader, Alan Jones. 4 Grand Prix wins behind him last year, one in 1977, on his way, seemingly the way this race is going, to his 6th Grand Prix win. Alan Jones from Australia, tough, burly, doughty driver. He's got ahead now, a long gap. Look at the lead between himself and the battle for 2nd position, which has yet to appear. And Jones off the course, and Andretti goes through to repass him.
Well, it appeared then that he just seemed to lock the front wheels. He may have a problem with his car, but that is on a place where there's a lot of what we call the marbles on the track. You get a little bit offline, and all the bits that are broken up on the track have turned to gravel, and it is literally like driving on gravel. If you get on that gravel, you just have no grip at all, especially with those big fat tires. That may be what happened to Jones, but we'll have to see how he re-establishes himself.
It does not seem to be bothering him, because Alan Jones is going just as quickly now as he was before, and he's got the problem, of course, of again catching and trying to repass the 1978 world champion Mario Andretti in the Essex Lotus. There is Andretti completing another lap. Alan Jones behind him. Lafitte is still in 2nd place. Piquet 3rd, Reutemann 4th, Villeneuve 5th, and Jody Scheckter in the Ferrari in 6th position. Alan Jones.
Yeah, he looks healthy enough, Murray. He's caught right back up to Andretti, the amount that he lost just then. So I imagine he's done no damage to his car, unless, of course, he's hurt a skirt a little bit.
And Alan Jones surging up to Mario Andretti's rear wing and straight past.
Yeah, Andretti led him through there in the big loop. That's a good experienced driver, because Andretti's already been in the pits, letting the leader through properly without holding him up or getting in his way.
Alan Jones away then, a clear circuit in front of him, in the lead, and that's Carlos Reutemann, Alan Jones's teammate, sitting absolutely still in the car, obviously out of the race. He's turned it in, no time to have a conversation with him, and that's Gilles Villeneuve now up into 4th position, lapping Marc Surer, the Swiss driver in the ATS, his first drive in this car. Villeneuve, who won 3 Grand Prix in the Ferrari in 1979, and now he's closing up on Piquet. That's Nelson Piquet in the white and blue new colour scheme Brabham, number 5, as into the pits comes Alan Jones. This is the leader, frantically gesticulating. Has he got the same trouble as Carlos Reutemann? His car doesn't seem to be stopping. The wheels are still turning, but now they stop.
Well, that was an amazingly quick pit stop, where I couldn't see exactly what they did. It did look as if they were diving at his radiators, and one can only assume that they've pulled out any muck that got stuck in there from his excursion.
Alan Jones rejoins in 4th place, just ahead of Jody Scheckter in 5th place. There's Scheckter in the Ferrari. Jones then down from 1st to 4th position. He's got in front of him the new race leader, Lafitte, Piquet and Villeneuve.
Well, if Jones has no further damage to his car, we've got a real race on our hands, Murray, because the Williams is still showing the superiority it showed last year. It's on full form here. He's got the speed to catch and pass the others, but he's going to have to work very hard, and he's going to have to do it with a lot of control, because the track is visibly getting very slippery. They're all tiptoeing around this particular little infield section here. That's not a good angle, but if we get another angle on that, we'll see just how slippery it is and how the cars are going very, very slowly indeed through that section, as if it was wet.
There, number 26, the new leader, Jacques Lafitte, who is closing up on Riccardo Zunino, who is the Argentinian driver and the teammate of Nelson Piquet. Lafitte, that's Piquet in 2nd place. Villeneuve in 3rd position. Mario Andretti has been lapped 26th. The leader, Jacques Lafitte, in the revamped Ligier. All the cars in this race are either entirely new or very much revised. And that's the battle for 2nd position between Nelson Piquet. There's the leader, Lafitte. Behind him, Piquet, and behind Piquet, Gilles Villeneuve, lap 20 out of 53.
And Alan Jones just appeared in the picture at the back there in 4th place with Scheckter behind him. So we've got the first 5 cars covered by not much more than 10 seconds, and they're all closing up.
Indeed, a fine motor race to start the 1980 World Championship Grand Prix season. And barreling down the straight, see how fast. It's good 180 miles an hour, and they don't even lift off for the curve on the double right-hand